If you're like Butler, then you're a major nerd for everything Star Trek. Look, I like Star Trek, but I couldn't tell you the difference between a Betazoid and a Kelpian.
Well, you should know what a Kelpian is, Field, since it's a race of aliens who inhabit the planet Kaminar, and it also happens to be the race of Commander Saru of the Starship Discovery.
See? Major nerd.
It's no secret that I love Star Trek, which means I can't get enough of Star Trek Discovery on CBS All Access. And now you can get the chance to see Star Trek perfectly free, as CBS All Access has made all 6 episodes of Star Trek Short Treks available to stream for a limited time.
Star Trek Short Treks are standalone short stories that allow fans to dive deeper into the key themes and characters that fit into Star Trek Discovery and the expanding Star Trek universe. And honestly, they're pretty good.
And our word is good enough, right? No? Well, how about Star Trek Short Treks has been nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Short-Form Comedy or Drama Series? Oh, now you're interested?
So why not head over to CBS All Access to start your free trial today and check out Star Trek Short Treks? But make sure you go through the link on our podcast page, Forgotten Cinema, at ForgottenEntertainment.com. Otherwise, what's the point of this ad? Am I right? Support us.
Live long and prosper.
I told you we weren't doing that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
God, stop your slow clap.
Why are you from Texas now?
Because I got to choose my stock.
How's that for high energy?
That's false advertising. No.
Oh, come on. Does every actor that portrays a cop in a movie have to wear a fedora?
You heard it here, folks. Mike Field is dead inside.
I'm actually trying to figure out who Brooklyn Decker's married to.
Nice.
What?
She doesn't say it
She
like that.
does say it like that.
She doesn't say
It's
it like
stupid.
that. Cowards. Cowards is what they're called, Mike. They're called cowards.
And begin. Hello, I'm Mike Field.
And I'm Mike Butler.
And you're listening to the Forgotten Cinema Podcast. Each episode, we highlight a film that, for a variety of reasons, was forgotten by audiences. Whether it's because a more popular movie was released at the same time, or the movie simply didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about the movie, or perhaps don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoy our podcast, please feel free to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. What's up?
Nothing.
I
Chilling.
think that opening might have needed an adjustment.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Call the fedoras. The fedoras? What are
The
they wearing?
Stetsons.
Stetson. Call the Stetson
They're
boys.
like mini fedoras.
Call the mini fedora boys. We need an adjustment. We're talking about the Adjustment Bureau. That's right. Mike, what's the Adjustment Bureau about?
Oh,
boy.
wait.
That's a
okay.
great synopsis.
I'll tell you what I don't love is the one sentence blurb that IMDb has up here.
Bring it. What is it?
So this is, I'll give you the regular synopsis, but there's the affair between a politician and a contemporary dancer is affected by mysterious forces keeping the lovers apart.
Affair.
Yeah, when was this an affair?
That never was.
Exactly. I don't like that. So let's read the actual synopsis. I just saw that it bothered me. So this is the first one I've seen on IMDb. This storyline synopsis is written by Universal Pictures themselves on the
Interesting.
IMDb page, which I have not seen yet.
Interesting.
Do we control our destiny, or do unseen forces manipulate us? A man glimpses the future fate has planned for him and realizes he wants something else. To get it, he must pursue across, under, and through the streets of modern-day New York. What? It's not even this. Oh my God!
What's happening?
All right, let me.
Perhaps your synopsis needs an adjustment.
Call Anthony Mackie.
Oh, that's Harry.
Call
I can't
Harry.
remember his last name.
He didn't have Harry last
No,
name.
he did. Harry
Oh, did he?
Mitchell. Yeah.
Do we control our destiny, or do unseen forces manipulate us? A man glimpses the future fate has planned for him and realizes he wants something else. To get it, he must pursue across, under, and through the streets of modern-day New York to get the only woman he's ever loved. On the brink of winning a seat.
Looks like your synopsis needs another adjustment.
On the brink of winning a seat in the U.S. Senate, ambitious politician David Norris, Matt Damon, meets beautiful contemporary ballet dancer Elise Sellas, Emily Blunt, a woman like none he's ever known. But just as he realizes he's falling for her, mysterious men conspire to keep the two apart. David learns he is up against the agents of fate itself, the men of the Adjustment Bureau, who will do everything in their considerable power to prevent David and Elise from being together. In the face of overwhelming odds, he must either let her go and accept a predetermined path, or risk everything to defy fate and be with her. This synopsis has been poorly written by Universal Pictures and adjusted by Mike Butler.
Adjusted badly.
I'm catching it as the first time I'm reading. I'm catching the things as they're going. I have to adjust.
So the Adjustment Bureau came out on March 4th, 2011. It had the runtime of 106 minutes, rated PG-13, production budget of $50 million. Opening weekend, it did $21 million, domestic $62, and worldwide $127 million. Produced by Media Rights Capital, Gambit Pictures, and Electric Shepherd Productions, distributed by Universal Pictures, as you may already know because Mike just read their synopsis.
Yeah.
But I will say that one of the notes I read it was that Media Rights Capital funded the film, and they auctioned it to Universal, who paid $62 million for the movie. And then I was like looking to see like, okay, wait a minute. Why is there domestic 62? Universal paid $62 million, but I really couldn't find anything beyond that. So just take that as it is.
So Media Rights Capital sinks $50 million into it.
They made the movie.
$12 million basically when they sell it.
Yeah.
Universal picks it up, has to make $62 million back.
Plus whatever marketing, which is probably about 20, maybe.
Well, they made a profit, but just not a huge
worldwide profit. Yeah. I guess
I'd be interested to see, and I know we always go on like Box Office Mojo for this, like a chart that shows like, I know they don't announce their marketing, but I'd really be interested to see like how much in the green they are or how like in the red they are in terms of like overall for the movies.
Right. There's another site, and I'm blanking on the name right now, that I was on Box Office Mojo and I was looking for, I was on IMDb Pro and I was looking at the numbers, and then I clicked to this other site and they were showing the breakdown, and I was trying to look for this auctioned amount. I couldn't find it. But then I started going through like they had a video sales amount. So they were showing cool. Blu-ray sales. It was cool, but that was it. And then I was like, wait a minute. I'm wondering how much Scoob made, because Scoob came out VOD on May 15th. And I started looked up Scoob on IMDb Pro, nothing. I looked it on that other site, nothing. If I wanted streaming, whatever they got in streaming or DVD, no, it's not on DVD, whatever they got VOD or anything like that, I had to send them an email to ask for it. So I was just, okay. But I'm curious to know what their take is.
Well, Field, in the future episodes of Forgotten Cinema, that's how we're going to have to do it, because everything's going streaming.
I know. Our release,
hot take, theaters are dead.
Our release date will be a little different. I know. Interesting. Okay. So anyways, March 4th, 2011, that same week, you had a movie we're doing in a couple weeks, Rango.
Oh, really?
Yeah, same day. Awesome. Interesting. Take Me Home Tonight, Beastly, which is like Beauty and the Beast, I think, right?
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, bad. And then you had a limited release, Happy Thank You More Please, which is Josh Radnor's movie. And then the day after, which was the Saturday, you had Kevin Smith's Red State, which is a Saturday release. I don't get that.
I still want to see Red State, but I haven't watched it.
I haven't heard great things, so I kind of stayed away.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I heard it was all right.
But I think I didn't watch it because Tusk came out like right before, right after.
And I heard that was there.
And yeah, everybody talked about Tusk. And
I know some people really like it, and maybe those are people that are into horror, but I heard Yeah. The week before, February 25th, you had Hall Pass, which when I think about that movie, that's so ridiculous, that movie. You remember Hall Pass?
I didn't see it. I know what it's about, and I remember the trailers, but I never saw it.
And you had Drive Angry. The week after the 11th, so the week after this movie came out, Adjustment Bureau, you had Battle Los Angeles, Mars Needs Moms, Red Riding Hood, and then you had in limited releases Kill the Irishman and Jane Eyre. So not a lot of, Rango is more of a kids movie. It's a kids movie, obviously, so I really wouldn't think that would go up against Adjustment Bureau.
No.
And I know Take Me Home Tonight didn't really do well. But it's actually not a bad movie. It's pretty funny, I think. Unless, I don't know if you've never seen it.
I haven't seen it. You've talked.
It's on the list.
You've talked at it. Yeah, I know you put it on the list.
It's on the list.
I know you like it.
Written and directed by George Nolfi or Nolfi. I apologize if I said that wrong.
Yeah, George.
It's based on a short story written by Philip K. Dick called The Adjustment Team, or Just Adjustment Team. Nolfi directed The Banker, which is the show that's on Apple Plus.
Okay. That's the one that's also got Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie's in that as well. Yeah. Birth of a Dragon. He was one of the writers on these movies, Timeline, Ocean's 12, The Bourne Ultimatum, and he wrote The Sentinel, or adapted it or whatever. Cinematography by John Toll. He has won 2 Oscars, one for Braveheart and one for Legends of the Fall. He's also more recently worked on Harriet. He's going to be working on The Matrix 4, and he did Almost Famous, amongst other big movies.
Matrix 4 is actually already back to filming. It's the first film that started filming again.
I thought Avatar 2, because they flew out to New Zealand like weeks ago.
Did they start? I heard that they were going to, but then I didn't hear they started.
No, I thought they were out
did?
there.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because I know Keanu Reeves has been spotted. They're actually just shooting it.
Good. I'm ready to see it in 2028, whenever it's coming out. Thomas
On
Newman.
VOD.
What's up? On VOD. I know. Thomas Newman is a composer. Thomas Newman has been nominated for 15 Academy Awards and has never won. Can we give him an Oscar, please?
You already vouched
We
for
did.
him
I already did this
Meet Joe
once.
Black.
I already did that once. But the other movies that he's done, 1917, Spectre, Skyfall, those are for Mike. Wally. One of his first movies was Revenge of the Nerds, and then he's done Real Genius, so I had to put that in there. Edited by Jay Rabinowitz. He has worked on more recently Irresistible. He's also done Requiem for a Dream, 8 Mile, and the action movie Salt. And produced by Bill Carraro, Michael Hackett, Chris Moore, and Nolfi. Again, I apologize. Chris Moore, you might know him from Project Greenlight, the TV show. He's a big-time producer. He's produced Manchester by the Sea and all the American Pie movies. There's 4 of them, right? There's 4 of them. Because there's American Wedding and then there's American Reunion.
American Reunion, American Pie 1, 2.
And American Wedding. American Pie 1 and 2, American
there's
Wedding,
no
American
3, right?
Wedding. No,
Yeah.
Wedding's 3.
Then there's 4.
Yeah.
I think there's talk of a 5th.
Whatever. Well, then no one's doing anything, so yeah, sure, why not?
I thought Reunion was good.
Yeah, well, the Reunion had everyone back. Wedding didn't have a lot of people back, yeah. Oh, did it have everyone back?
Wedding?
Didn't Reunion not have one of the women? Or maybe she came at the end.
I thought Reunion had everybody.
Okay, I don't remember.
But maybe I might be wrong.
That's over 10 years ago. I'm pretty sure. I think. Michael Hackett, who's one of the producers, as Butler contemplates his mortality. Michael Hackett has produced Paycheck. Carrara has produced recently Blade Runner 2049, the TV show Escape at Dannemora, or the TV series, and Frequency, which we both love.
Yes.
And that's not a TV show, that's a movie. Mike told you that Matt Damon's in this movie. He plays David Norris. He won an Oscar for writing for Good Will Hunting. He's also in The Martian, The Departed, and the Ocean series. I'm sure you've all seen those. Emily Blunt as Elise Salas, or just Elise in the movie. She's in Edge of Tomorrow, Devil Wears Prada, A Quiet Place, and A Quiet Place Part 2, whenever that decides to come out. Anthony Mackie as Harry Mitchell. He is Captain. He's in Captain America. He plays Falcon. And he's going to be in the new, what is it called? Falcon
and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, okay. He's also in The Hurt Locker, and he was in the 2nd season of Altered Carbon, which Mike and I are fans of.
Mm-hmm.
John Slattery plays Richardson. You probably know John Slattery on the TV show Mad Men. He played Roger Sterling. He's also in Spotlight, which is an awesome film, and he's in one of my favorite scenes in Charlie Wilson's War, excuse me. You know what scene I'm talking about?
I told you before, I've seen Charlie Wilson's War, and I remember nothing about the movie.
Shame on you. Terrence Stamp as Thompson. He was General Zod, obviously, in Superman 2. I know he's in Superman, the first one, but I'm not counting that. He was nominated for an Oscar in Billy Budd. That's a 1962 movie. He's also in The Limey, and he ventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. And then rounding it out, you got Michael Kelly as Charlie Trainer. I know Michael Kelly from House of Cards, the TV show. He's also in the 2nd season of Jack Ryan. He's in Man of Steel and Chronicle as well. So that's it. Those are like kind of the mains.
Yeah, that's it.
You have some. I know that Daniel Day Kim was in this movie and they cut him out. He played a guy named Henderson, who was kind of giving Richardson a hard time, which is Slattery's character, but then they just cut him out, so he's not in there.
He's not the guy that's with him.
No, it's a different guy.
It's a different guy?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. But yeah, so I remember when I first saw this movie, I remember liking this movie.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is very heady. So there's a lot of heady topics in this in terms of fate versus choice, predestination versus free will, that kind of stuff. That it dives into that a little bit. Some would say that it plays it safe. I think that's one of the criticisms that it had, that, you know, you go to the precipice of that kind of theological discussion of free will versus predestination, but you don't kind of go too far in.
Yeah. I would say I would have the same.
Right. You have that same critique?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I really like this movie. I can't remember who put this on the list, but I know I chose it for this episode. But I really like the movie regardless, but I do think it kind of, who's the chairman? Oh, you know who the chairman is.
Yeah.
Like, just say it or don't say it, or have a discussion about it.
There's a couple.
Come on.
There's a couple instances where they get vague. like when he says when Anthony Mackie's character tells David that they can't track us or something about water. Well, what is it? What exactly is it about water? I get that you say that, but what is it exactly? Now, I should tell you that I read Adjustment Team, which I told you before, and that is not in there at all. That idea, this whole thing with water is not in there at all. So the story of Adjustment Team, the short, there's nothing in that short that's in this, with the exception of in the movie, he's got to get on that. He's got to miss work, right? They want him to be late.
Yeah.
Because they're doing an adjustment. But in the short story, they got to make sure he's on time because he needs to be in the sector because they're adjusting the entire sector. And what ends up happening is he's late. And this is in the short story. And he's not adjusted. Everyone else is. So he's out of adjustment. And he's got to come to terms with that. Like he enters while they're making the adjustment. Yeah. And while they're making the adjustments, which is actually pretty cool, he enters the sector. The world's divided into sectors. And when he enters the sectors, everything is gray and ashy. And when he touches stuff, it falls apart and it's like sand. And he's just nobody's. And then he these guys in white suits are in there doing stuff. And then he runs out. And he gets into they call it, they de-energize the sector. That's when they're doing their adjustments. And then when he busts out of it, he goes into an energized part and he goes into the world so that the sky is blue and everyone's walking around. So he escaped that de-energized zone.
Interesting.
Right?
It's like an alternate. It's like the opposite of Matt Damon's.
Correct.
He was not supposed to be adjusted.
Correct.
Because he had the right idea about the solar and everybody else needed to be adjusted.
Right.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think you could have done a lot more if this movie had been more successful. There's a whole lot you could have done with this concept.
Right. This movie, as it is, wouldn't be, I don't think we would like it as much as we do, or we responded to it as much as we did, if we didn't like the chemistry between the two leads.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
it makes the movie.
Because if they don't have instant chemistry like they do when they are in that bathroom, then the movie falls flat because the movie is contingent upon their chemistry. And to their credit, it's very good.
Yeah, you have to believe because they don't. It's that, I don't know, 10-minute meeting in the bathroom, 10 minutes on the bus, and then 3 years later.
Right.
And then 11 months later. So they meet very sporadically.
Yeah.
So you have to believe instantly every time they get together that they're meant to be together. They have this absolute chemistry that can't be broken apart or whatever. And yeah, they do it flawlessly.
Yeah.
Like immediately you're smitten with them as soon as they talk to each other.
Well, Matt Damon's is acting style, or whether he can do it well, is he's somebody who can play an everyman, or he's somebody that when he's on screen, he's extremely relatable. And he's charming and he's funny, but like that's how he is. And even when you see him not performing,
like in interviews,
stuff like that, he's like that.
He's kind of, I don't want to say self-depreciating, but he's very like he'll talk and you look at his mannerisms in terms of how he acts. Like when I watch actors and stuff like that, he does a lot of stuff where he'll like put his head down, or when he's laughing at his own joke, he puts his head down. Like he knows he shouldn't be laughing at his own joke,
right.
Which is like a lack of like he's still got confidence, but it's a lack of like super confidence. Right. And I think that's the relatable part to question your actions as you're acting.
Okay.
Kind of question your own choices.
Sure.
That makes you a little more uncomfortable maybe, but not like super like awkward.
Right.
And I think that's what helps the relatability with Matt Damon is stuff like that. And he's got twitchiness and he moves his arms and his coffee cup and he doesn't just stand still like a statue. He's moving in his scenes, whether it's like small, like where there's small movements with his hands or his body language. That makes it more relatable.
Do you think that's on purpose?
Oh, absolutely.
Or do you think he's working like he's thinking, okay, I should do this? And
well, he doesn't do that when he's born.
Okay, that's true.
But he does that in any other movie he's in where he's supposed to be the everyman. He does that in this film. What's the one where he's the politician, or the one where he's the fracking?
You're talking about
John Krasinski's in it.
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. He does it in a lot of his films where he's playing a regular person.
But do you think that that's him making an acting choice, or that's just him allowing himself to be more like himself? Because a lot of times, as you know, when you're performing, you have to put a little bit of yourself in those roles in order for it to make it believable. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Like I would think
that's who I am.
Right. There's more targeted, focused acting in a Bourne movie to like he's being somebody else or being what I would be like if I was a trained assassin, rather than in this. It's like, this is me if I was running for office.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, then. here's a question I have for you, because in this movie, because he is he's running for Senate. He's a congressman, right? And he's running for Senate because they call him congressman a couple times. So he's somebody who's looking.
He became a congressman.
Right. And then he was running for the Senate seat.
Oh, right. Yeah, I get. Yep.
So obviously it deals in politics and it deals in real world issues and situations. But do you like it in movies when they use real life news anchors that and they're like, they have James Carville in there and
Jon Stewart.
Right. And they use them as, I don't know, like to ground them in a reality.
I think I do like it. It does ground you in a reality. It puts them as real people and it shows how they would react in the real world. And I think that's really cool.
Right.
However, the issue with that is it does date your movie.
Yes.
So it definitely, like, now you're putting your movie in a specific time period, and watching it now, that is a little distracting. Whereas watching it then, and it's like Robin Williams in Man of the Year as well, where he runs for office as a joke, but he ends up on there. You have Jon Stewart, you have the cast of Saturday Night Live because he goes on Saturday Night Live. You have a bunch of CNN and Fox News anchors. It's like, that's cool.
Yeah. But it dates your
But
movie.
again, it really dates it, especially when it's like, okay, so that's this person and that. And then you're watching those scenes, and that's at least someone like you and I who watch a lot of movies, watch a lot of TV. We're just like, all right, so that's that. And now, so that's that year. And now, okay, now I'm focused on who they're talking to and not what they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I think initially, as I aged or matured when I was watching films, it didn't bother me so much. It doesn't really bother me now, but it does, like you say, date the movie. And then I start thinking, oh, this was 2011 when they shot this. And especially when a movie comes out, and obviously movies are shot almost a year before that they're released because of post-production, and it takes time and work and all that stuff. So somebody could, like, let's say for the sake of argument, Jon Stewart left the show that year. And then you do the Adjustment Bureau, Jon Stewart's on the show. Immediately you're like, oh, he's not on that anymore. I know when they shot this. Like it pulls you out of the movie. I think it's tough. I think it's a really, while you're using it to ground your movie into your own reality so everyone can find a relatable thread to there, because you're kind of dealing with a movie that's, I don't want to say supernatural, but it does deal with elements that are celestial and beyond someone's comprehension almost.
Yeah, and it is interesting to add the real life people when you're doing stuff like that. Yeah, right.
You're trying to ground it as much as you can so that people could think, well, maybe this does happen. So I get that. You talked about the chairman before.
Yep.
They actually shot a scene with the chairman.
Cowards.
Right. So, and I'm going to butcher the name because I always do. They shot, so the scene, the chairman or God, which was shot, and it was played by Shorey Aghdashloo, which I apologize. She's in the Expanse. She's the president now.
Okay.
Yeah. So they shot it, and then what ended up happening was that there's two versions. That the studio didn't like it because she was raised Muslim, and the studio wasn't ready for a Muslim to portray God in a movie. So they told the director, no, you got to get rid of it. No, it's out of here. So he had to do it. And she was like, she basically was like, that's the business, whatever. But the director comes out and says that, later on or some other day, that they purposely, they reshot the ending because they went back and 4 months later and reshot the ending, that to leave it unopened or not explained so that you could fill it in with what you want to do.
Right.
Now the ending works, but
it's okay.
I mean, I wouldn't have minded seeing, their ending, the original ending, because, I'm not hung up on that. So what are you going to do? But yeah, so they did actually shoot an ending with the chairman. And I actually like what Harry tells him, like, you've met him before, her. The chairman comes to you in many forms, which is kind of similar to what a lot of people say in religion. Like, again, but here we are again, like skimming the top of theological discussions and religious debates, but never really going underneath, so that you're just trying to like, but I don't want to talk about it. Like, it's kind of like that,
Cowards is what they're called. Mike. They're called cowards.
Well, you want the movie to be a mainstream movie that's gonna, have a lot of people come out to it. You're hoping that they're coming because Damon and Blunt are running around and kind of quote unquote action star kind of thing,
Well, so you can still do that, and you can still make it exciting. You're not targeting any specific religion. In fact, you're creating your own.
I'm only telling you what the studio is probably thinking.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
That's just a coward's way out. I studio control on things and the sameness of everything and this system of what are the audiences going to like and putting it through a computer and all this crap now is just really, I think, A, silencing voices, and B, it's going to completely squeeze every drop of real creativity out of films and not allow you to, like we're saying right now, have an actual discussion or have an actual idea in place for your film. Like, this hurts the world building of the film.
But on the other side of that,
You got to make money. I get that.
The studio's putting a boatload of money up. They're going to want to protect their quote unquote investment.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree. I pretty much agree with your sentiment, but I do understand, like, when you're, you know, a major studio and you put all this money into a movie and you put $200 million in a movie like Tenet, you don't want to, it's tough to say we're going to VOD. You know what I mean? I get that.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thinking. Granted, that's dealing with, you know, the pandemic is kind of a consideration no one would probably ever thought of in terms of when they're making movies and putting out. You know, they're more thinking like, what if Robert Pattinson does something, you know, weird or does something that is going to affect the release. Like, they're thinking that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not something as global scale as the pandemic. So I get that. But, you know, but when you have like smaller movies and you see these directors that come up and make like a movie for $5 million and it's great, and immediately everyone like flips out over and they just throw offers at them, because you can tell how devoid of maybe new, quote unquote, new inspiring talent there is sometimes.
Yeah.
When you're using the same old people, the same old, you know, directors and writers who, you know, can deliver you a product, but it's a pretty substandard product. They can sell it, they can package it, but it's not something that's going to blow the roof of everyone and be like what they want. Make a lot of money and win a lot of rewards. You're going to have that's like the two things you want in a big movie or in any movie.
Yeah.
So did you notice that Thompson, Richards, and Harry are supposed to be Tom, Dick, and Harry?
No.
Yes. That's why they're called that.
Nice.
Yeah. You know, I thought that was interesting. So what is something that, I guess, because we've kind of glossed over a lot of stuff. Do you have like a real negative to this movie other than what we talked about in terms of kind of the not having the balls to go deep, as you said?
They don't have,
pun not intended.
They don't really go deep. The time gaps are, I like that there's so much time going in between, but I also feel like the movie could be a little longer and expanded upon in terms of something. I don't know what. I just feel like it's missing some stuff. Slattery just disappears.
Yeah, he steps out and Thompson steps in.
And he gets the hammer.
Yeah, that was a little weird. Like, because in the beginning, Richardson is somebody who you're I guess supposed to fear a little, but then as you get to know him, you realize that it's a job.
He's just doing his job,
and he's got a personality. But then he shifts, and now we're supposed to be like worried about another guy. So it's a little bit weird. I get what you're saying. It's a little bit weird in that regard.
And then they get the hammer, and I'm not really that afraid of the hammer either. Even the hammer tries to level with him.
But I love his opening monologue when he comes in. He explains to them how we gave you enlightenment. We did this. And we step back, and he steps back, and then he steps back as he's doing it.
Whatever happened to free will?
We actually tried free will before. After taking you from hunting and gathering to the height of the Roman Empire, we stepped back to see how you do on your own. You gave us the Dark Ages for 5 centuries. Until finally we decided we should come back in. The chairman thought that maybe we just needed to do a better job with teaching you how to ride a bike before taking the training wheels off again. So we gave you the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, scientific revolution. For 600 years, we taught you to control your impulses with reason. Then in 1910, we stepped back again. Within 50 years, you'd brought us World War I, the Depression, fascism, the Holocaust, and capped it off by bringing the entire planet to the brink of destruction in the Cuban Missile Crisis. At that point, a decision was taken to step back in again before you did something that even we couldn't fix. You don't have free will, David. You have the appearance of free will.
Number one, my two thoughts right in my head. That's a really nice monologue. And number two, how many people did that when they weren't auditioning for like, show what you got aside, give us what you got? Because I always remember The Devil's Advocate, because Pacino has that monologue at the end where he's got all the statues behind him are moving, and everybody would do that monologue in their read. Like, oh, it's from Devil's Advocate. I'm like, all right, come on. Shoot me. Anyways. But I really liked Thompson's monologue. That's my point.
I like Thompson. I like him talking to Matt Damon. I like him trying to get Matt Damon to almost use his own free will to get back on track. It just, he didn't seem like the Hammer to me. The only thing he did was spraying Elise's ankle.
Yeah, I don't know
about it.
Again,
which is kind of out of character for him compared to everything else he does.
Right. There's stuff that's thrown out there, and you never really kind of explain the whole thing with water. We can't really do water.
I kind of like the water thing is kind of explained in terms of everything you read about and everything you see in movies and stuff. It's water is this force that seems to protect people in all types of stories, all throughout everywhere.
Okay.
And there was one, I can't remember. Obviously, the only movie I can think of right now is Signs. But I remember reading an article on like Screen Rant or like IGN or Entertainment Weekly where they went through, and it wasn't just modern stories. It was also stories from way back, medieval times or earlier, but where water is this force that seems to defend and protect humanity.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like this ancient thing. So that kind of works with who the Adjustment Bureau are.
Gotcha.
And but in our favor because water protects us.
Okay. Did you know? You mentioned the scene when she twists her ankle. That wasn't her dancing. They had somebody. There's a professional dancer, and they digitally put her face on.
Oh, really?
For those scenes, and I didn't notice it. And after I read the note, I was going to go back and be like, dude, can I catch it? But yeah, they did. That wasn't, not that I thought, not that I'm like, oh, come on, Blunt, learn those moves, whatever.
I'm a little surprised.
Yeah.
I figured it was her.
Well, it did well then. But for a budget of $15 million, that's not bad. Because there's some effects in here. There's mostly green screen stuff when they're running through doors and stuff like that. That works. You talk about like one of the things I really wanted to know more about, and I don't really think you can do it in this movie because it would be 2.5 hours, is I wanted to know more about the book, the tech, the idea of fate versus choice. Like the entire mechanism of the Adjustment Bureau, like was interesting enough where I wanted to see more of that. Mm-hmm. Whether that's more of like Harry was more of a main character. Like they kind of talk about how he knew his father and things that he had to do to his brother, and all for the sake of making sure David does what he needs to do.
President.
Right.
But that's also another one of my issues is you're very unclear on what David's.
Why is he supposed to become the president?
What is his, you don't know what the platform, I get, don't tell us if he's a Democrat or Republican,
right.
But let us know what he's going for. Like obviously, like not something as vague as the economy or this or that. What's his big platform?
Right.
And something he says like JFK was his dad's inspiration. Like JFK had clear platforms on what he wanted to do.
Right.
Let's get some clear platforms on David, and then maybe we can at least infer upon that as to why they want him as the president. All we know is his solar initiative he wanted to do.
Yeah.
But as president, I don't know.
In the short story, not that I keep wanting to compare it.
Until you keep doing it.
I know. I don't care. In the short story, the guy that they're adjusting a real estate broker, a firm, because the guy that's head of the real estate office is an older man. He's going to be given an opportunity to purchase land. And he passes because he's older, he doesn't want to do it. So they make him younger and more energetic, and makes the staff younger so that he buys the land. Because when he buys the land, they're gonna dig up the land. People are gonna go and start digging up, and they're gonna find artifacts that they put in there purposely. The Adjustment team has put in there, and it's gonna inspire the scientists from all around the world to come to that part and develop friendships. And Russian science is gonna develop friendship with Belgian science. Remember, this is written in the 60s or the 50s,
right? And
they're gonna form a friendship, and it's gonna kind of like ease tensions in terms of the war and kind of. So there was a reasoning behind it. Right. There were steps to something like that. Would be David's going to have a choice and he's going to make the right choice. Well, we need to get him in that office, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Agreed. That just a little bit of explanation. I want to see if I'm jumping all over the place. I want to see if you notice this when they're in her bedroom and he's sitting on the chair. Did you notice the chair and her headboard? Okay. So if you go back, if anyone goes back, he's sitting in this chair, but the chair is sewn together with different types of patches. So the chair is not one toned. It's all different fabrics sewn together.
Mhm.
And I thought that was definitely on purpose. Either they found it or they made it, because it's a theme of the movie. Pieces that don't look like they fit, but they do fit. They form a chair. They form something sturdy
Because that's
like a
Elise
chair.
and David, right.
And her headboard is also two different fabrics. They kind of, I don't know whether they had something draped over there and they put Emily Blunt in the middle of it so you couldn't see the Afghan or thing, or it was another thing where they cut two fabrics, but her headboard's the same way. So I thought that was a very interesting element that they put into her apartment to kind of highlight the theme. Now maybe I'm reading into that and they just found a cool chair that was going to be thrown out, but I hope it wasn't.
No, listen, I like it. I like it. I like looking for little themes like that. I like that. Another thing I was really interested in are like what the positions were within the Adjustment Bureau that they never really got into. Like you kind of got what Harry's job was, but then they go to the middleman essentially. And the middleman,
when he tells them they're going to bump it up,
when he's going to bump it up. I can't remember that guy's name. Doherty or something, I think.
Whatever.
So they go to his office. He brings them up to the records room where every adjustment is kind of still recorded, so you can see the past paths.
Yes.
But what is his job? And then he brings it up to the Hammer, who's Hammer. So now he's doing his old job because the Hammer got promoted. So what's the Hammer's? What's his new job? Thompson's new job is very unclear about that.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's interesting enough to want to know more.
Oh no, yeah.
But in this movie, you're just kind of given a glimpse.
This stuff doesn't detract me from still really liking the Adjustment Bureau, which, like I said, it still hinges. None of that stuff really matters because you really like Emily Blunt and Matt Damon's chemistry.
Sure.
So you could do a different kind of movie and still have them as their chemistry, and who cares what the Adjustment Bureau is?
Yeah, you like them so much that you don't care that. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
you like them so much that you're okay with the fact that she basically leaves her off again boyfriend like in the lurch.
Second time.
Who I'm still convinced might be Eli Manning because that's what he looked like. He's a quarterback for the New York Giants, Butler. So yeah, like he's just kind of like, can you check on her? And she's gone. What's his story?
Well, apparently he's a good guy. That's what she says.
There's no adjustment book on him.
Yeah. So we're gonna ruin this guy's life 5 times? Yeah. That's fine.
Looks like we rippled this guy's life too many times.
Hey, did we attach him with somebody after her when we made these? Just no.
Did you notice a quote on the bar? 24 hours a day.
Yeah, absolutely.
24 beers in a case. Coincidence? I think not. Do you know who said that?
Paul Newman.
There you go. Nice. We're Paul Newman fans. Something that I also wondered. Harry gives him his hat, and then David goes off and has that running scene.
Yep.
But then Harry gets back without his hat. How'd that happen?
Harry goes through that one door.
He gives him the hat to go through the door, and then he runs off.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
And then you find next time you see Harry, he's walking up the stairs with all the adjustment guys looking at a book. How do you get back?
He says without the hat, he can't do the warps, but maybe he can still do the counterclockwise and go in back home. But again,
he says the hat's giving him the power.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're not completely wrong. Yeah. Unless he has to call somebody. Maybe he's got
can I borrow your hat?
Yo, my hat fell in a sewer drain. It's gone, man. It's gone. Can you open a door for me? One thing I noticed about Anthony Mackie's character of Harry, maybe he was just playing it this way, but I noticed a huge lack of confidence in the way he acted in this film as opposed to like how he acts in Altered Carbon, and maybe even how he acted in the Falcon. And I know this is one of his earlier roles.
The Altered Carbon he's supposed to be like, because he has 300 years of who he has been.
Right.
I think in this one, I got the sense that he had more emotion than everyone else. Maybe he was a younger agent, or he was letting his emotions control him a little bit more than the other agents do.
I got that too, but I also got this kind of uncertainty in his acting.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Like just a little bit of like, I could tell that this was an early role for him.
Okay. I didn't get that.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
I've always liked him. I think he's very.
I like Anthony Mackie.
Very charismatic. Yeah. He's very. I mean, the acting in this movie is very good. And you've got a lot of really strong people in this movie, which is great.
Yeah,
and I think that helps. That only helps the movie. I will say this: that the director was quoted as saying the intention of the film is to raise questions. But is it raising the right questions?
It's just
Because my questions are like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah. I mean, I get what he's trying to say, but it doesn't really raise those questions.
Yeah.
Because it only goes surface deep. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love themes about, destiny versus free will and stuff like that. That's when I write scripts, a lot of them are about that.
Mhm.
But this movie doesn't go any further than anything else that you've ever seen before in terms of people pulling on strings. And you have to, that's been a story since ancient Greek fables and, the gods of Olympus moving the chessboard pieces. It just, they don't go deep enough. And maybe it would have gone deeper if they had the scene with the chairman. I don't know what they talk about, but in terms of what the Adjustment Bureau is talking to David and Elise about, it's just like, yeah, now you have free will. We don't have free will. Yeah, we adjust you. You can pick your toothpaste. You can pick this or that.
Yeah.
Well, all that stuff has consequences too. So you don't really get deep enough to understand what they're going for, I guess.
I think if it went deeper, it would be a 2.5 hour movie. It's not like you're adding 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think that's the decision that, okay, do I dive into this a little bit more? We're going to add another half hour to this movie. Probably can't. It's going to make the main story drag, so we can't do it.
But here's the point that they bring up, and they never fix this issue. They basically teach you that free will is wrong, that it led to the Dark Ages, that it led to World War I and II and the Cuban Missile Crisis. So now you're giving at the end, you give David free will like it's a good thing.
The
when
appearance
you
of free
just showed us that free will is a terrible thing.
Yeah.
You're muddling your message then.
But remember, these agents are not Thompson, Richardson, Harry. They're not spouting what the chairman thinks. They have their own opinions and thoughts and feelings. And that's Thompson thinking that and saying the way, you know what I mean? So that's after, and I think you get the impression that Thompson has been around since the dawn of man. Does that you get that impression?
I do, because Harry kind of says that, they live a very long time, but you get the impression that, okay, so you do age and, die like everything else. So Harry's young, Slattery's older, and then Thompson's even older.
You're supposed to assume that these people are angels. They don't ever say that, but that's what
he
you're
asks him. He goes,
yeah.
he even says, that's the closest thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, or something.
But again, they don't want to say it, but
I'm okay with them not saying it, because what they're basically saying is, religion is wrong. Like, you get some things right, and there's some things that all religions have, but then you don't have everything.
Religion is a man-made thing. This is not. We're above that.
It's a version of what we are.
Right.
It's how you can wrap your head around
which I'm okay with. That's
so
fine.
am I. I like that. That's one of the notes I have that I like that it's a version of a religion, but it's a version of a lot of religions, and I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not to go down that road, but agreed.
But it allows you to be more unique and original than just expounding upon, again, something else that's been written.
Mm-hmm.
You can go down different holes and stuff like that. Did you also watch this on HBO Max or
no,
HBO?
I watched it on HBO Go until they take it away from me.
So when I was watching it, when they got to the scene on Liberty Island,
okay,
and they're doing the close-ups on David and Elise, I noticed a lot of fragmentation on their faces.
I did not notice that.
And it was not, you did not notice that?
No,
okay.
Maybe it might have been whatever your feed was.
It only happened during those close-ups, and then it cleared up again. And it was cleared before, so I didn't know if it was how they formatted or not.
No, I didn't notice it. What I do notice, and everyone, when the Adjustment Bureau is in control, that the camera movements are smooth. They're on dollies. Everything is kind of exact a little bit. And when the humans were in control, or when you're focusing on the humans running, it's handheld. The hand movements are shaky. I did notice that.
Mm-hmm.
They do a lot, which I appreciate. I always appreciate when they use the camera becomes part of the storytelling technique, because a lot of times people just assume the camera is just push, let's go, record, let's move on. I like when they use the camera to tell the story as well. So I did notice that.
The scenes are also brighter.
Yes.
When
the gray,
they have free will, and it's always cloudy and gray when the Adjustment Bureau is in
when it's
control.
raining and stuff like the whole thing with the rain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because he's trying to get a fight against that, which I guess makes sense. It works twofold. It goes along with the idea of what we just said, that the Adjustment Bureau is trying to adjust and take control. But it also goes against the fact that they can't really figure out where he is because of the water.
Right.
Yeah. So it's almost like, are you to infer that the chairman is helping David to see what he does, in that regard?
Yeah.
In that regard. So maybe, because you can even say that, because they talk about how David and Elise keep running into each other, and they didn't. Richardson said it. They're supposed to be together in like several different iterations.
Yeah, like 4 or 5. Yeah,
right. So of course they're gonna always bump into each other because that was their fate or whatever. But they're trying to adjust that. So it's funny. They're adjusting this guy's timeline, but they're fighting against themselves because they've already made adjustments. Do you know? So.
Yeah.
And you want to get the idea that the chairman knows all of this and is just kind of seeing how it plays out or is allowing them to make adjustments.
Well, even Harry says, even they don't know. The Adjustment Bureau doesn't know the chairman's actual plans.
Right.
So the chairman's almost adjusting the Adjustment Bureau.
Right. Harry says like, it's all a test.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the idea is that you want more agents like Harry who feel for them and don't want to disassociate themselves, not think of the world as black and white and think of the world as I just need to make sure they get to this point at this time, not thinking why they're doing it, which is another great kind of like side angle to take with this storyline.
Oh yeah.
And I think now that we talk about it more, it kind of makes me like, I want more. Like I want another. I think if they did if they did a sequel, and you could just have it different characters.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But like, make it more about the Bureau than it is about the people the humans that they're trying to adjust.
Yeah, you can have like a Harry character or even Harry back and have Harry working on other cases because obviously they cover multiple cases.
Or have a new agent who used to be human and wants to adjust the lives of the people that he was with. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But then you add another layer to now humans become the Adjustment Bureau.
Where do the angels come from? It's not like they're making them out of clay.
You don't know how the chairman
I'm just I'm just fashioning out a new agent.
Hey, Chairman. I messed that one up.
Well, forget that now.
Got to start all over again. The one thing I really don't like about this movie that has nothing to do with the story or anything is when David quotes Rocky at his political speech.
Oh, see now, hold on. I had the same note, but I had Batman Begins. Because that's the father what tells when he falls in the well. Why do we fall down? So
we get back up again.
Yeah, so it's the same idea.
But they're completely quoting Rocky. When you get hit, it's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you get hit and get back up again. It's the exact same quote. And it's just like, this is Rocky Balboa. This already came out.
Yeah, but he kind of goes against it and says that was tested and you know what I mean? Like that was.
But no one this is a world where Jon Stewart exists. I know Rocky exists. Nobody in the audience is going, that's Rocky. This is why you lost the election.
And like, I can't believe he lost the election because of a picture of him mooning somebody
in college.
Like, and that was a month before the election, and that cost him the election.
You get all this hippie Bill Clinton stuff before he got elected. All this Obama smoking pot stuff before he did. George Bush and his drunkenness and everything.
Well, they talk about how the famous story about how he got elected as a congressman, and that night he got into a bar brawl.
Yeah,
and like everyone's like, "Oh, he's the bad boy senator." It's like, well, why wouldn't mooning go along with that storyline? Why wouldn't that just be roll right in there? Well, you know what he likes to do. He's one of you guys. He would love
exactly.
That. Yeah,
he would have won the election.
Yeah.
He definitely would have won Brooklyn.
And I I can understand why, maybe because you can't really go. That's almost like the safest thing to do without tarnishing him. Like you can't have something where like a sexual assault case or
he's doing a load of blow.
Right. Or like he's a deadbeat dad or whatever. You have to do something that's could cost him the election, but it's safe enough for him to run and still people love him.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So I guess I get that, but he would have won if he come on.
Yeah.
Horse hockey.
This is one of 52 ties. That's red tie or a blue tie.
Yeah, that stuff was good.
I need 52 people to pick up.
I think that was an exaggeration.
As soon as he popped up on screen, one of the very first things I thought of was Michael Kelly he can't not be a political advisor.
Well,
like that's just his look.
Well,
you're in the White House.
This is 2011, so he's been around. He's done a bunch of movies, but he really people really knew him from House of Cards because he's really good as Douglas Stamper in House of Cards. That's probably why
I feel like
he got this
pigeonholed now.
No, because did you watch season 2 of Jack Ryan?
He runs the embassy.
He's a good guy though. Like that's the thing.
He's not a bad guy.
No,
in
but
this.
he's not an analyst. He's not like in that. He's somebody who he actually, boots on the ground. He goes in there and he's, shooting and firing and all that stuff. Yeah. So I actually, and he had a little bit more. Like he's just a political analyst in this. And in the Jack Ryan season 2, he's more of a charismatic character and somebody relatable. He's married to the attaché to the country they're in.
Mm-hmm.
He was twice they married. He talks about that. So I liked him and Jack Ryan. I thought he showed he was able to show
stuff,
another side of him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I do like Michael Kelly. He still has a good personality. He's a good actor. And, he's friendly. He's not a bad political advisor. He's not, even though he's got like the 52p, he's just doing what his job is to do.
And so I'm sorry, but if he makes a living doing roles in that take place in movies or TV shows that are political in nature, but he's working for the next 20 years, he ain't complaining.
I ain't complaining.
I'll take that job. There you go.
I'll take that job. I'm just saying, I noticed that.
I got you.
That's like I always notice that James Marsden is always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Oh, yeah.
I just notice these things about some characters. Like some actors always come back as the same.
That's because that's how people know them. That's why sometimes you'll see actors go off and do like an indie. That's completely like all the comedy actors do that. Like Will Ferrell going off and do Stranger Things.
No, you got to do the dramas
to show that they can do stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I hear you. It's a game. It's all a game. It's all just like, what have you done for me lately? I saw you in this. I guess you can do this kind of role. I saw you in this thriller that you really pulled off. Like I always remember when Harry Connick Jr. did Copycat. And he was a serial killer, and it was just, what is this? And it was clearly just, hey, listen, he can do these type of roles. I get that. I understand that. It's a job. It's a career. It's what you do.
You do a bunch of like Robert Pattinson. You start with like a kid's movie. You do a bunch of serious movies, and as Batman.
Oh yeah, if they ever finish that.
You build up your career to become a superhero later on,
and then you last long enough to become the villain. Oh wait, that's from Dark Knight.
Right. That would be awesome. Casting I know they want to get Michael Keaton back as Batman, but cast Michael Keaton as the Joker.
Oh, no way. No way.
I'm not saying they would do that, but I think that would be cool.
Why can't you just have a universe where you have older Batman hands the reins over, obviously, because that ends up happening, right? In the comics, they hands it over to the Robin or something, right?
Well, Robin gets it whenever Batman dies in the comics.
Right, okay, so then just do that.
But what you're talking about is Batman Beyond also. Where he's still alive and he hands it off.
I like Batman Beyond.
They'll do eventually.
But then make Batman the evil. Make him go crazy and he becomes a villain. So it's new Batman against old Batman.
In Flashpoint, that's the storyline. That's where Michael Keaton would, if they're faced with the comics, he would be Bruce Wayne's father in an alternate version where Bruce Wayne was killed in the alleyway. Thomas and Martha survive. Martha becomes the Joker because she loses her mind.
Jeez.
Thomas becomes Batman, but he becomes a vigilant, murdering Batman.
Interesting.
But I think I like the idea of maybe you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Henry Cavill when he's 75 plays Lex Luthor or something like that. Being able to play both sides of the coin.
I think it's in a different movie.
Right. I think it would just be interesting.
I guess. I guess.
Well, back to the adjustment. What's one of your favorite scenes in the movie?
I really like Thompson's monologue. I think that's really well done. I like when they meet in the bathroom. I think that's funny and engaging. Those are the two that jump out. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff I like, but those are the two that jump out. Thompson's monologue I really like. I really like Terence Stamp, just his opening.
For some reason, I do really like the bus scene between the two of them.
Sure, yeah.
But for some reason, my favorite scene is when they've rescheduled her performance, her practice to not be at the pier, but to be back at Cedar Lake. And David doesn't know where Cedar Lake is.
Oh, when he goes into the bar?
He's trying all the phones and stuff. Yeah, the Adjustment Bureau guy who's next to Slattery goes, oh, no, that's not. Oh, my God. And he goes into the restaurant and goes, hey, guys, I got an emergency. And he talks to all the people because they didn't expect him to do that.
Yeah.
And someone goes, oh, I know where it is.
Yeah.
I always love that.
Who is this guy? Uh-oh.
Excuse me, everyone. Sorry to disturb your lunch. It's an emergency. Has anyone here ever seen a performance at the Cedar Lake Ballet Company? The Cedar Lake Ballet Company?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, where is it?
Son of a bitch.
To that point, when Harry's telling him, they're talking about, okay, let's let's figure out what we're going to do here. And he's like, well, what if I just punch him? That's good. Improvisation. We're not good with that. But then you never use it again. It just like completely, okay, fine. And he's like, I'm going for the blue door. Of course you are. It's like, I don't get this.
He talks about the blue door earlier.
Yeah, I know. I get that.
Yeah.
But like they set up this whole plan. He says, I'm just going to go for the blue door. And then they said, I'm talking about, again, introducing topics and then forgetting them. Improvisation. He never really does any kind of improvisation when he starts running. Not anything before.
Right.
When he starts actually going after her.
Well, no, he does improv because he's going to the chairman. That wasn't his original plan.
You're right. He
was resigned to just, I'll be with you until I melt my brain.
Okay.
And then he goes, screw it. I'm taking this all the way up.
Yeah.
And that's improvisation.
Okay.
And then I think every time he hits a bureau agent, they're not seeing that coming.
That. I like the
you gotta stop.
I like the fact too that when he's on the street and people are saying, hey, Congress, like he's recognizable and people are talking.
Oh, yeah.
Putting that in there. I think that's good. That just shows you that they're not oblivious to the world around them.
Yeah, I do like that as well.
So why do we have this on the list? How about that? Why is it forgotten?
It's not an action movie. It's not a shoot 'em up. Like you said, it's heady. I think it's an interesting story. I think it's exciting, but I think it's tough to get people to want to watch it when you describe the movie to them. I think that it doesn't. And then on the flip side of it, people that really only like heady movies, it's too popcorn. It walks the line between being a heady movie and an exciting movie, which is great for me. And I think that's amazing. But I think the common audience wants popcorn, or they're coming into those Monday morning shows to watch, the Oscar noms in terms of stuff that's got this kind of a topic. And this is neither.
March 4th release. I don't think the studios knew. I mean, let's just put it here and see what happens.
I wouldn't know where to put this. That's probably where I'd have put it.
Yeah, it's not strong enough to maybe garner kind of award attention. So you're going to keep it out of the end of the year. And it's not a summer movie. So you're probably, where you're putting it is probably the beginning of, quote unquote, the beginning of the spring season.
Yeah.
I hear that. You're hoping that the strength of the leads are going to bring people to the theater with Damon and Blunt. This is before
Edge of Tomorrow.
So this is her. Really this isn't her like her blowing up and.
Well, she did Devil Wears Prada.
Put her on the map. Yeah.
I think Edge of Tomorrow put her into the stratosphere in terms of
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
In terms of guys going, oh, Emily Blunt's in this. All right, because guys did not watch Devil Wears Prada.
They should. It's
although
funny.
John Krasinski did, which is why he really had a thing for Emily Blunt.
Really good. It's a good movie. It's funny.
I've actually never seen it.
Really?
No.
You would? Has Elise seen it? Now, when I say Elise, I'm talking not about Elise in the show, in the movie here.
But my Elise.
Your Elise. Will you own her?
That's right.
I think you should walk that back. Well, has she seen Devil Wears Prada?
I thought, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was going to mention that one of my notes is that they spell Elise wrong in this movie. They spell it with an I, but my fiance spells it with a Y.
You were going to say my Elise again, weren't you?
I was. She's mine.
I'd like, at least just so you know, I don't agree with his saying you're his. It's inappropriate. Butler, you're off Forgotten Cinema.
Damn it.
But yeah, no, you should. It's a funny movie. You should watch it.
I think she went out to watch it with her friend one night, her girlfriend. So,
but you won't lose your quote unquote man card, as they say, if you watch The Devil Wears Prada. It's okay. You can watch it.
I put some romantic films on our list. I put Fool's Gold on there. I put First Night on there.
First Night is not a.
It's a romance. It's like a medieval.
It's part
romance.
of it, yeah, but
it's a big part of it.
Fools. Which one's Fool's Rush In?
Fool's Gold. Although I do also have Fool's Rush In on there. I put both.
The Matthew Perry one.
You don't like that?
It's all right.
I could take it off the list.
No, don't take it off. It's fine. It's fine. No. Fool's Gold is with
Fool's Gold is McConaughey where they're looking for the treasure with Kate Hudson.
All right, so we're going to adjust this conversation back to the. So all right, so yeah, I mean we'll check it out if you like it.
Why did you think it was forgotten?
I think I just said it.
Did you?
Yeah, I talked.
Oh, just about the March release.
I talked about that. I think. I agree with what you're saying.
Okay.
So yeah, that's. I agree with that. I think it's a tough movie to. It's a tough movie to market because it's sci-fi, it's science fiction. It's got theological undertones. It's not necessarily an action movie, but has action moments. It's a romance movie, but it's not a true romance movie.
Yeah.
It's got those elements. So I think it's a movie that crosses genres. And when you have movies like that, good or bad, it's really tough to market that to a mainstream audience. I mean, we're talking when we say Forgotten Cinema, we're talking about movies that maybe people watched whether they're successful or not, they don't bring up again. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a conversation about the Adjustment Bureau with anyone other than people who like movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one ever comes up to me, I saw that Matt Damon movie. Just, like that never happened. Of course, that was 9 years ago, so I can't remember. But yeah, I think all your reasons and just, it's a tough movie to market. But it's definitely a movie that I would pop in on a Saturday night if we're talking about, hey, let's watch a movie tonight. That's not a terrible movie to watch.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So I've seen much worse. It's good. So check it out if you can. All right. So I'm going to do this week since you always seem to do it. You can find us online. I know, right? Shock.
Oh my God.
You can find us online at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com.
Did someone adjust you?
Yes. You can also find us at ForgottenEntertainmentLLC.com. We are part of the Forgotten Entertainment family. Well, we are the Forgotten Entertainment family. We all are, actually. You are on the socials at Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, Forgotten Cinema. We have a new episode every Wednesday, new commercial every Thursday, and we're all over the place. And feel free to reach out to us if you have a suggestion. If you have a comment on anything, we always comment back. We like engaging. It's fun. It's fun to do. We like to make fun of each other online often, so that's always great. But yeah, and did I forget anything else? Oh, if you want to suggest something on the website, there is a contact page, but also you can reach out to us at ForgottenCinemaPod@gmail.com. And we just, we're in the middle of season 6. We did season 5 last maybe 6-7 weeks ago. We just ended, and it was all audience choice, and we it was fun. But we always still take suggestions for throughout the other seasons. So, yeah. So, absolutely. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If you want us to talk about anything. And let us know how we're doing. And if you want me to get rid of Mike for saying that he owns his fiance, that's fine, too.
Listen, I'm hers.
Okay, that's cute. All right, but I have to hear that.
Okay. There you go. You heard.
All right. And then join us next week as we're going to be going to 1985 when I was 10 and Mike was not born.
Yeah.
And we're going to be watching and we're going to be talking about Young Sherlock Holmes, which Mike has never seen. So I'm interested to see if he likes it because I like this movie. So obviously I'm the one that put it on the list. So that's next week, Young Sherlock Holmes. All right, everyone. Thank you. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
This has been Forgotten Cinema. Why are you staring at me?
I want a Stetson.
Well, we can get those. We should get those for the commercial.
Absolutely. And then just wear them all the time.
And just have them on. That's our commercial. I look good. Yeah, I look good. That's it. Done. You've heard the commercial here first.
I'm going to try it, man. I just bought this Stetson. I'm going to try to walk through this door. Well, it's not going to work. No, I'm going to try. I'm doing it.
Green screen in our future.